This one mental shift can pull your desire into reality by tomorrow tonight. Before you close your eyes, understand this: sleep is not rest from creation, sleep is creation. The world you wake up to tomorrow is being written by the state you choose before you fall asleep. All day long, your mind argues, doubts, analyzes, and interferes, but at night, the guard drops. The subconscious opens, and whatever you carry into sleep becomes law. If you fall asleep worried, you wake up repeating the same reality. But if you fall asleep fulfilled, calm, certain, complete, you wake up aligned with a different future. You don't need to force belief. You don't need to visualize perfectly. You don't need to beg the universe. All you need is one quiet decision: this is already handled. That feeling of relief, that inner exhale, that soft knowing, that is the state that rewrites reality. The subconscious does not respond to effort, it responds to familiarity. When you sleep as the version of you who already has the desire, the mind accepts it as normal, and what feels normal must appear. Most people replay problems at night. They rehearse delays, disappointments, and unanswered questions. And without realizing it, they program the same life again. But when you change the ending before sleep, you change the pattern. You tell your mind, there is nothing to fix. There is nothing to chase. And when the mind hears completion, it stops resisting. Resistance dissolves, alignment begins. Sleep collapses time because the subconscious lives only in now. There is no tomorrow there. There is no waiting there. When you fall asleep feeling fulfilled, the mind treats fulfillment as present reality. And reality always rushes to match what the mind accepts as now. This is why breakthroughs happen overnight. This is why messages arrive unexpectedly. This is why things shift when you stop trying. Do not wake up checking if it worked. That pulls you back into doubt. Wake up carrying the same calm certainty. Live your day normally. Let life move. What you impressed at night is already working beneath the surface. Creation doesn't need supervision, it needs permission. Every night you sleep in certainty, you reinforce a new identity. An identity creates outcomes effortlessly. You are not manifesting things, you are becoming someone for whom those things are inevitable. So tonight, don't ask when. Don't ask how. Don't ask why it hasn't happened yet. Just rest in the feeling that it's done. Let sleep finish what effort never could. Because the reality you desire is not created by struggle during the day, but by the version of you who peacefully falls asleep at night knowing it already exists. Shift from wanting to assuming. The mental switch that turns desire into reality. Most people believe manifestation fails because they are not trying hard enough, visualizing long enough, or repeating affirmations enough times. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Manifestation does not respond to effort. It responds to assumption. The single most important mental shift you can make is moving from wanting something to assuming it is already yours. This shift alone can collapse time and pull your desire into physical reality faster than you ever thought possible. Wanting is subtle, but it is one of the biggest blocks to manifestation. When you want something, you automatically place it outside yourself. Wanting says, I don't have it yet. Even if you visualize, affirm, or pray from a place of wanting, your subconscious mind receives only one message: lack. And reality faithfully mirrors that lack. This is why many people feel exhausted after trying to manifest, because they are unknowingly reinforcing the very absence they are trying to escape. Assumption works differently. Assumption is calm. Assumption is settled. It does not beg, chase, or hope. When you assume something is done, your mind stops searching for it. Your body relaxes. Your emotional state stabilizes. And the moment this happens, resistance dissolves. Reality begins to rearrange itself not because you forced it, but because you are no longer contradicting it internally. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone, it responds to identity. When you want something, you are identifying as the person who does not have it. When you assume, you identify as the person who already does. This is the real secret behind instant manifestation. You are not attracting something new, you are switching states. The world you experience is simply a reflection of the state you occupy. Think about things you already have in your life. You don't wake up every day hoping your name will still be your name. You don't affirm that gravity will work. You assume these things, and because you assume them, they remain stable in your reality. Your desire works the same way. The moment it feels like a fact instead of a wish, it begins behaving like one. Assumption does not mean pretending or lying to yourself. It means deciding. A decision is final. When you decide something internally, Your energy shifts immediately. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start living as though it's already handled. This is why people often manifest things right after they give up, not because giving up is powerful, but because in giving up, they stop wanting. They accidentally move into assumption. The mind cannot hold two dominant states at the same time. You cannot fully assume and fully want simultaneously. One always cancels the other. Wanting keeps you in waiting mode. Assuming puts you in receiving mode. This is why the shift feels so subtle yet so dramatic. Nothing changes externally at first, but everything changes internally, and that is where manifestation is born. When you assume, your behavior changes naturally without effort. You don't force confidence, it emerges. You don't chase, you allow. You don't obsess, you trust. This inner shift sends a powerful signal to reality. This is normal for me. And reality always works to normalize your assumptions. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking assumption requires intense belief. It doesn't. You don't need to feel excited, joyful, or spiritually elevated. You simply need to feel neutral certainty. The kind of certainty you feel when you know tomorrow will come, or when you know your phone will still be there when you put it down. That quiet knowing is infinitely more powerful than emotional intensity. This is why affirmations fail for many people. They repeat affirmations from a place of wanting them to become true. But affirmations work only when they reflect an assumed identity. Instead of saying, I will have, the mind must move to, this is how things are for me now. When the affirmation matches your assumption, it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like description. Assumption also collapses time because time is a psychological construct. The future exists only when you place something there mentally. When you assume, you pull the future into the present. You stop waiting, and waiting is what creates delay. Reality responds to presence, not patience. Another powerful aspect of assumption is that it removes emotional dependency. When you want something desperately, your emotional state depends on whether it arrives. This creates tension. Assumption removes that tension because you are no longer emotionally negotiating with reality. You feel complete first, and completion is magnetic. You don't need to convince anyone else. You don't need signs. You don't need validation. In fact, seeking signs is another form of wanting. Signs appear after assumption, not before. When you assume, you stop asking for proof, and proof begins to appear. To practice this shift, stop asking yourself, how can I get this? And start asking, how would I think, feel, and move if this were already done? Then don't act dramatically, act naturally. Normality is the key. The more ordinary your desire feels internally, the faster it externalizes. At night, this shift becomes even more powerful. When you fall asleep in assumption, the subconscious mind accepts it without resistance. Sleep bypasses logic and doubt. Going to bed feeling like the version of you who already has the desire impresses the mind at its most receptive state. This is why so many manifestations occur unexpectedly after sleep. The most important thing to remember is this: reality does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. When you shift from the identity of someone who wants to someone who assumes, everything changes. Effort disappears. Struggle dissolves. Timing accelerates. You don't manifest by chasing reality. You manifest by choosing a state and remaining loyal to it. Assumption is loyalty to the end result. And when your inner world settles into that loyalty, the outer world has no choice but to follow. This is the mental shift that pulls your desire into reality, not someday, not eventually, but often far sooner than logic would ever allow. Decide that time is no longer required. The moment you stop waiting, reality starts moving. One of the deepest, most invisible blocks to manifestation is the belief that everything needs time. This belief is so normalized that most people never question it. They assume that even if a desire is possible, it must move through days, weeks, months, or even years before it becomes real. But manifestation does not obey calendars or clocks. It responds to mental permission. The moment you decide that time is no longer required, you remove one of the strongest delays ever placed on your desire. Waiting is not neutral. Waiting is an active state of postponement. When you believe something needs time, you mentally push it into the future. And the future is where things stay when they are not allowed to arrive. The mind says, not yet, and reality listens. This is why people who are constantly patient often feel stuck, not because patience is wrong, but because patience sometimes disguises doubt. Time, as experienced in manifestation, is psychological. It expands or collapses based on your internal state. Think about moments in your life where things happened out of nowhere. Opportunities appeared suddenly. People contacted you unexpectedly. Solutions arrived instantly. These moments were not miracles. They were moments where resistance dropped and time collapsed. You stopped insisting on delay. Most people unintentionally program time into their desires by saying things like, "It will happen one day," or "I'm getting closer," or "It's on its way." These statements feel positive, but they all imply distance. They assume the desire is traveling toward you instead of already available. The mental shift is to stop treating manifestation like a journey and start treating it like a decision. When you decide that time is no longer required, you are not denying reality, you are choosing authority over it. You are declaring that your desire does not need permission from circumstances, conditions, or timelines. This decision instantly changes your relationship with waiting. You no longer wait for reality, you wait from completion. The belief in time is often rooted in logic. The mind says, this is how long things usually take. But manifestation does not operate on what is usual. It operates on what is assumed. Logic describes the past. Assumption creates the future. When you allow logic to dominate, you recycle old patterns. When you release time, you allow new ones. This is why some people manifest faster when they stop caring about when it happens. It's not indifference that works, it's the removal of time pressure. The moment the mind says, it doesn't matter when, it often manifests quickly because the internal clock has been turned off. Another hidden way time delays manifestation is through the idea of preparation. Many people believe they must become ready before their desire can arrive. They think they need more confidence, more money, more healing, more knowledge. This creates a loop where readiness is always in the future. The decision to remove time is also the decision to remove prerequisites. Your desire does not arrive because you earned it through waiting. It arrives because you allowed it. Allowance has no timeline. The universe does not check how long you have been wanting something. It checks how open you are to receiving it now. When you release time, your emotional state changes. Anxiety softens. Urgency fades. Pressure dissolves. These emotional shifts are not side effects, they are signals. They tell reality that resistance is gone. And where resistance is absent, movement is immediate. One of the most powerful ways to collapse time is to stop telling the story of how long it's been. The moment you say, "I've been trying for years," you reinforce duration. The subconscious mind hears repetition, not frustration. It assumes the pattern must continue. When you drop the story, you drop the timeline attached to it. The present moment is the only place where manifestation happens. Not tomorrow, not someday, only now. But now is not a moment on a clock. It is a state of consciousness. When your mind rests in now without projecting forward, reality catches up quickly. Deciding that time is no longer required does not mean obsessing over instant results. Obsession is still waiting in disguise. The shift is calm authority. It is the quiet knowing that says, this doesn't need to take long, without demanding proof. Look at how easily negative events sometimes appear. Fearful thoughts often manifest quickly because they are not given timelines. People don't say, "I'm afraid this might happen in 3 months." They feel it as immediate. That immediacy gives it power. The same principle applies to positive desires when time is removed. Your subconscious mind loves efficiency. When you stop insisting on duration, it finds the fastest route available. Sometimes that route defies logic. People show up unexpectedly. Circumstances rearrange overnight. Information arrives at the perfect moment. From the outside, it looks sudden. From the inside, it feels natural. Releasing time also restores trust in yourself. Waiting often signals self-doubt, the belief that you are not powerful enough to receive now. When you decide that time is optional, you reclaim your authority as the source of your experience. At night, this decision becomes deeply ingrained. If you fall asleep without tomorrow in your mind, without counting days or imagining delays, you impress timelessness into the subconscious. Many people wake up to messages, opportunities, or shifts simply because they stop tracking time before sleep. It's important to understand that removing time does not mean controlling how things happen. Control creates tension. Removing time creates openness. You are not forcing reality to rush. You are allowing it to flow without breaks. The mind loves deadlines because deadlines feel safe. But safety is not creation. Creation happens when you allow uncertainty without delay. The moment you say, "This doesn't need time," you step outside linear thinking and into alignment. Reality does not ask, "How long do you want to wait?" It asks, What are you assuming right now? If you assume delay, delay appears. If you assume immediacy, pathways open. This mental shift is subtle, but its effects are dramatic. The moment you stop waiting, you stop resisting. And when resistance disappears, movement begins. Time was never the requirement. Permission was. Stop checking reality for proof. The moment you let go, manifestation locks in. One of the most overlooked yet powerful reasons desire stays stuck is the habit of constantly checking reality for proof. It feels harmless. It even feels logical. After all, if something is manifesting, shouldn't there be signs? Shouldn't there be movement? But in truth, checking is not neutral. Checking is a signal. And the signal it sends is this: I don't believe it yet. That single message is enough to slow, stall, or completely block manifestation. Every time you look outside yourself to see if something has changed, you quietly affirm that it hasn't. The subconscious mind does not respond to your hope, it responds to your focus. When your attention repeatedly lands on the absence of your desire, you reinforce that absence. Reality mirrors what you notice most, not what you wish for occasionally. Checking is often disguised as patience or awareness, but underneath it is dependence. You become emotionally tied to external confirmation. Your mood rises when you see progress and drops when you don't. This emotional fluctuation keeps you in reaction mode rather than creation mode. Manifestation requires stability, not surveillance. When something is truly assumed as done, you don't check for it. You don't open your bank app every 5 minutes to see if your name is still your name. You don't refresh your phone to confirm gravity still exists. You assume. An assumption is quiet. It does not need reassurance. The moment you stop checking, you send a powerful signal of completion. You tell your subconscious, this is settled. And when something is settled internally, reality begins finalizing it externally. This is why people often manifest things the moment they stop caring, not because they stopped wanting, but because they stopped monitoring. Checking also creates urgency, and urgency is resistance. Urgency says, it must happen now or I'm not okay. That emotional pressure pushes your desire further away. Reality does not respond well to pressure, it responds to allowance. And allowance only appears when you no longer need proof. Many people believe that watching for signs keeps them aligned. In reality, signs are a side effect, not a requirement. When you look for signs, you imply they are necessary for belief. But belief is what produces signs, not the other way around. The order matters. Another hidden danger of checking is comparison. You start measuring your progress against others or against imagined timelines. You ask questions like, why hasn't it happened yet? Or, what am I doing wrong? These questions don't lead to clarity. They reinforce self-doubt. And self-doubt is one of the strongest manifestation blockers. The shift is to become internally satisfied first. Satisfaction is not excitement. It's not pretending. It's a calm sense of completeness. It's the feeling of I'm good, regardless of what the outside world is doing. This inner satisfaction tells reality there is no urgency to fix anything. And that's exactly when things start fixing themselves. Your subconscious mind takes repetition seriously. Every time you check, you repeat the story of not yet. Even if you say positive words, the action of checking contradicts them. Actions speak louder than affirmations. And checking is an action of doubt. This is why mental diets matter. It's not about controlling every thought. It's about controlling your reactions. When you catch yourself wanting to check, pause. Ask yourself, would I do this if I truly believed it was done? That question alone often collapses resistance. Letting go of checking does not mean becoming passive. It means becoming internally anchored. You still live your life. You still take inspired action when it arises naturally. But you are no longer emotionally invested in watching the process unfold. Reality moves fastest when it is not being watched. Think of how often things show up when you're busy, relaxed, or distracted. That's not coincidence, it's alignment. Your attention has shifted away from lack, allowing creation to complete itself. Another reason checking delays manifestation is that it keeps you anchored to the present version of reality. You are constantly reaffirming what is, instead of allowing what will be to replace it. Creation requires a temporary disconnect from appearances. Faith is not blind belief, it is loyalty to an inner knowing despite external silence. The moment you stop checking is the moment you choose loyalty. And loyalty is powerful. It tells your subconscious that this assumption is non-negotiable. When you release the need for proof, your nervous system relaxes. Stress hormones drop. Your body shifts into safety. and safety is fertile ground for manifestation. The body must feel safe before it allows change. Constant checking signals danger and uncertainty. One of the fastest ways to stop checking is to redirect your focus to self-connection. Instead of asking, has it happened yet? Ask, am I calm right now? Calmness is alignment. Calmness is trust in motion. Nighttime is especially important here. Going to sleep without replaying the question of when impresses the subconscious with completion. Many manifestations finalize during sleep because the conscious mind stops interfering. It's also important to understand that letting go does not cancel your desire. It secures it. You don't lose something by trusting it, you lock it in. The universe does not forget what you asked for simply because you stopped watching. The paradox of manifestation is this: the less you need it to show up, the faster it does. Need creates gravity that pulls you into waiting. Detachment creates lightness that pulls reality toward you. When you stop checking, you reclaim your power. You move from reaction to authorship. You stop asking reality for permission and start allowing it to catch up to your decision. Proof follows belief, not the other way around. And the moment you no longer need proof is the moment it begins appearing everywhere. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to let reality dictate your state. When your state is stable, reality must shift. Stop checking. Start allowing. That is where manifestation becomes inevitable. Treat your desire as normal, not special. Why what feels ordinary manifests faster? One of the most subtle yet powerful blocks to manifestation is making your desire feel special. When something feels rare, extraordinary, or too good to be true, the mind automatically categorizes it as difficult to obtain. Most people don't realize that by placing their desire on a pedestal, they unknowingly push it away. The mental shift that accelerates manifestation is to treat your desire as normal, natural, and expected, not magical, not miraculous, not exceptional. The subconscious mind is wired to maintain normalcy. It works tirelessly to preserve what feels familiar, safe, and ordinary. Anything that feels abnormal is questioned, delayed, or resisted. This is why people effortlessly maintain certain realities, like income levels, relationship patterns, or daily routines, without trying. These things feel normal to them. Manifestation is not about attracting what excites you most, it's about stabilizing what feels normal inside you. When you label a desire as life-changing or urge, you create distance. Distance creates tension. Tension creates resistance. The mind subtly asks, who am I to have this? And immediately shifts into protective mode. This doesn't mean you shouldn't want meaningful things. It means you must stop emotionally exaggerating them. Think about how easily small, everyday things show up in your life. You don't celebrate them emotionally before they arrive. You don't obsess over them. You don't doubt them. You assume them. That assumption is what you must bring to your desires. The universe does not respond to importance, it responds to familiarity. Many people believe excitement speeds up manifestation. In reality, excitement often slows it down because excitement contains nervous energy. Nervous energy signals uncertainty. Calm expectation, on the other hand, signals safety. And safety is the gateway through which reality changes. When your desire feels special, you watch it closely. You analyze it, you protect it. You fear losing it. All of this creates emotional weight, and heavy desires move slowly. Ordinary desires move fast because they carry no pressure. This is why people sometimes manifest big things accidentally. They weren't emotionally invested. They didn't see it as the thing that will finally make me happy. They treated it casually. And casualness is magnetic. Normalizing your desire does not mean lowering your standards. It means raising your self-concept. Instead of thinking, this is too good, you shift to, this is normal for someone like me. That subtle identity shift changes everything. Your nervous system plays a huge role here. When something feels special, the body often responds with excitement mixed with anxiety. The heart rate increases, thoughts race. The body doesn't feel settled. When something feels normal, the body relaxes. And a relaxed body is a powerful manifesting body. The subconscious mind accepts what feels familiar more easily than what feels extraordinary. That's why sudden success can feel uncomfortable for people. They haven't normalized it internally yet. Manifestation isn't blocked because you want too much. It's blocked because your system isn't used to having it. To normalize your desire, stop talking about it as if it's rare. Stop telling the story of how big it is. Start speaking about it internally the way you would speak about something you already have. Neutral language matters more than positive language. Another powerful shift is to stop attaching your happiness to the arrival of your desire. When something feels like the key to your happiness, it becomes special. And special things carry emotional pressure. Happiness first, manifestation second. That's the order. Look at people who naturally live the life you desire. They don't wake up feeling amazed by it every day. They consider it normal. That normalcy is what keeps it stable. You must mentally join that normalcy before reality reflects it. The mind also resists change that feels too drastic. When a desire feels special, the mind perceives it as a sudden leap. When it feels normal, the mind perceives it as continuation. Manifestation prefers continuation over disruption. You can practice this shift by imagining your desire already integrated into your daily life. Not the moment you receive it, but the moment weeks after, when it's routine. How do you wake up? How do you think? How do you move? That's the state that manifests. Casual confidence is more powerful than intense belief. You don't need to convince yourself that your desire is possible. You need to stop convincing yourself that it's rare. Another reason special desires manifest slowly is fear of loss. The more special something feels, the more afraid you are of it disappearing. Fear contradicts possession. When something feels normal, loss doesn't dominate your thoughts. This shift also removes desperation. Desperation is simply attachment disguised as passion. And attachment signals lack, normalcy signals abundance. Your inner dialogue matters here. Replace, I can't believe this might happen, with, this is just how things work for me now. Replace, this would change everything, with, this fits my life naturally. The universe does not ask how much you want something. It asks how normal it feels for you to have it. What feels normal persists. What feels special comes and goes. When you normalize your desire, you stop chasing it. You stop proving your worth. You stop negotiating with reality. You become the version of you for whom this is ordinary. And when something feels ordinary internally, reality rushes to make it ordinary externally. This is the paradox: the less dramatic your desire feels, the faster it manifests. Calm expectation beats emotional intensity every time. Treat your desire like it belongs in your life, because the moment it feels like it belongs, it arrives. Go to sleep as the version who already has it. How nighttime rewrites reality. Sleep is one of the most underestimated yet powerful portals for manifestation. While most people spend their nights replaying worries, doubts, and unanswered questions, very few realize that the moments before sleep are when the subconscious mind is most open, receptive, and impressionable. What you fall asleep feeling does not stay in your mind, it becomes a command. Going to sleep as the version of you who already has the desire is not a technique, it is a state shift that allows reality to reorganize itself with minimal resistance. During the day, the conscious mind analyzes, questions, and interferes. Logic argues, doubt negotiates. But at night, these guards soften. The brain shifts into slower frequencies, and the subconscious steps forward. This is the part of the mind that controls habits, beliefs, emotional patterns, and perception of reality. When you impress an idea here, it does not argue, it accepts. Most people go to sleep thinking about what didn't happen. They mentally scroll through problems, delays, and frustrations. In doing so, they unknowingly reinforce the very reality they want to escape. The subconscious does not know the difference between imagination and experience. It absorbs emotional states as truth. When you sleep in frustration, you wake up in the same loop. The shift is simple but profound: fall asleep fulfilled. Not excited, not trying. Just quietly complete. Completion is the language of the subconscious. When something feels done, the mind stops resisting it. You don't need vivid visualizations. You don't need to force emotions. The most effective state before sleep is neutrality mixed with certainty. A gentle inner knowing that says, this is handled. That feeling alone is enough to reprogram belief. Think about how easily you fall asleep when something in your life feels settled. There is no mental noise, no inner debate. That same settled feeling is what you want to bring to your desire. When your mind treats your desire like a closed case, the subconscious gets to work finalizing it. Sleep also removes urgency. Urgency blocks manifestation because it signals fear of absence. Sleep is surrender, and surrender is powerful. When you surrender the how and when, you allow intelligence beyond conscious effort to take over. Many people mistakenly turn nighttime manifestation into effort. They repeat affirmations aggressively or visualize intensely, hoping something will click. But effort activates the conscious mind, which actually blocks the process. The goal is not to impress the subconscious through force, but through familiarity. Before sleep, ask yourself one question. How would I feel right now if this were already done? Then don't exaggerate the answer. Let it be simple. Relief. Calm, a slight smile. That's enough. Your body will respond immediately. The breath slows. Muscles relax. Thoughts quiet down. These physical cues tell the subconscious that safety is present. And safety is essential for change. The reason sleep is so powerful is because it collapses time. The subconscious does not operate linearly. It does not understand tomorrow or next month. It only understands now. When you fall asleep in possession, the mind treats possession as current reality. This is why many people wake up to unexpected messages, opportunities, or solutions. The conscious mind didn't make anything happen. It simply stopped interfering long enough for alignment to occur. Another important aspect of nighttime manifestation is identity reinforcement. During sleep, the mind consolidates memory and self-concept. Who you believe you are before sleep becomes who you wake up as. If you sleep as the version of you who lacks, you wake up continuing that identity. If you sleep as the version who already has, you wake up aligned with that reality. Dreams also play a role. You may not dream directly about your desire, but your dreams may shift emotionally. Lighter dreams, clearer dreams, or even no remembered dreams often signal internal alignment. The mind has accepted the new assumption. It's important to note that you should not check in the morning to see if it worked. That pulls you back into doubt. Instead, carry the same settled state into your day. Live normally. Let the day unfold. Sleep is not about commanding reality, it's about allowing it. When you sleep in certainty, you remove resistance for hours at a time. That uninterrupted alignment is incredibly powerful. Another reason this works so well is repetition without strain. Every night is an opportunity. You don't need to do anything differently during the day. You simply return to the fulfilled state at night. Over time, the subconscious has no choice but to accept it as truth. Many people manifest faster when they stop trying during the day and focus only on how they feel before sleep. This is because nighttime bypasses effort. It installs belief quietly. Even if doubt appears during the day, it does not undo what you impress at night unless you react emotionally. Nighttime programming is deeper than daytime thinking. You may notice subtle shifts first. Your reactions change, your expectations soften, your confidence increases without reason. These are signs that the subconscious has accepted the assumption. Manifestation does not always arrive dramatically. Often it feels like things just worked out. That is alignment. That is sleep doing its work. The most powerful thing you can say before sleep is not an affirmation, it's a conclusion. This is done. Then let go. When you consistently go to sleep as the version of you who already has the desire, reality has no choice but to catch up. Because the world you wake up into is shaped by the mind that went to sleep. Sleep is not rest from creation. Sleep is creation. And when you use it consciously, manifestation becomes effortless, natural, and inevitable.